Did you know what just happened in the Marvel Universe? Brace yourselves, because this is no ordinary story. Godzilla attacked New York City, and if that wasn't apocalyptic enough, the Venom symbiote bonded with the king of the monsters, creating a catastrophic new creature, Venom-Godzilla. What followed was one of the most chaotic, devastating and consequential battles in Marvel history, one that changed Spider-Man's life and possibly the fate of Earth forever. It began with Spider-Man back in action, swinging above New York City in his sleek, new black suit. He admired the city skyline, but couldn't ignore the surge in crime that had taken hold while he'd been gone. Still, he felt a rush of purpose. Spider-Man was back, and he was ready to make a difference again. Spotting trouble below, he dove in, eager to test his new gear. The trouble came in the form of Herman Schultz, the Shocker, who mocked Spider-Man's new look and vowed to kill him, sneering that the hero was already dressed for his own funeral. But Peter wasn't impressed. As they clashed, he reflected on the intense weeks he'd endured, a secret war fought on a distant planet, and the alien symbiote he'd brought back from that conflict. This new suit was unlike anything he'd ever worn. It could generate its own webbing, shift instantly into street clothes, was far tougher than his old costume, and, perhaps most importantly, felt like it was responding to his very thoughts. He taunted Shocker throughout their fight, calling him a crash test dummy and mocking his lack of ambition. Shocker unleashed upgraded vibro gauntlets with terrifying destructive potential, but Spider-Man effortlessly dodged the blasts and subdued him once again. Black Cat soon swung onto the scene and admired his new look, though she secretly feared Peter might discover the truth about her new bad luck powers. Powers granted by none other than the Kingpin. Meanwhile, in the offices of the Daily Bugle, J. Jonah Jameson raged at Peter Parker. He berated him for quitting college, delivering mediocre photos, and failing to outshine Eddie Brock and the Daily Globe. Peter shrugged off the chaos in his life, thinking it was manageable, until a thunderous primal roar shattered the air over Manhattan. The sound was unlike anything he'd ever heard, and then he saw it, a monstrous shape rising from the Hudson River, Godzilla. The king of the monsters had arrived in New York, and the city descended into chaos as the colossal titan advanced inland. Spider-Man immediately called a timeout in his fight with Shocker, webbed him up with a note for police pickup, and swung toward the threat. He recalled Godzilla's legendary battle with the Hulk and knew he didn't stand a chance against something that powerful. All he could do was protect civilians and hold the line until the Avengers arrived. But something about Godzilla's movements felt different, as if it was searching for something. Then, realization struck Peter like a lightning bolt. It was heading straight for his apartment building, and Mary Jane was inside. Peter's heart stopped. He raced toward the building and shouted for her to jump, just as Godzilla's massive foot smashed through the structure. He caught her mid-air, and they swung to safety moments before the building crumbled. Panicked, Mary Jane demanded to know if Peter was safe, and then revealed something shocking. She had known his secret for years. "You think I'm an idiot?" she said. "I've known since the beginning." Before they could talk more, Black Cat appeared and called Peter lover, prompting a tense exchange between the two women. But there was no time for drama. Spider-Man told Black Cat to get Mary Jane to safety while he dealt with the rampaging titan. He swung around Godzilla's enormous body, narrowly dodging snapping jaws and trying to lure the beast toward the less populated west side. He cracked jokes and even sang to steady his nerves, determined to keep the monster focused on him. But then Godzilla unleashed a roar so powerful that it shook Peter to his bones and triggered something horrifying. The alien symbiote screamed. It writhed and tore itself off Peter's body, leaving him exposed and terrified. The living organism twisted violently in the air and then launched itself at Godzilla. Before Peter could react, it latched onto the monster's skin and began to spread. Peter's mind raced. The symbiote had always responded to his thoughts, and moments earlier, he had desperately wished for help against Godzilla. Now that wish had manifested into a nightmare. The realization dawned on him with crushing weight. The black suit wasn't just alien fabric. It was a living being, and now he had brought an alien life form to Earth, and it had bonded with the most powerful creature on the planet. The result was horrifying. As the alien fused with Godzilla's immense strength, it linked the monster to the King in Black, a godlike entity who commanded legions of symbiotes across the universe. The King in Black thrived on chaos, death, and domination, and now his influence coursed through Godzilla. The monster's primal mission to purge Earth of threats twisted into something darker. Godzilla's purpose was corrupted. Now, Venom-Godzilla was born, and its rampage began. The parasite fed greedily on Godzilla's limitless energy, growing stronger by the second. Black Cat and Mary Jane worked frantically to evacuate civilians, while Peter, racked with guilt, realized that he might be the reason Godzilla had come to New York. It could have been following the symbiote. He swore to make things right, even if it meant his death. Returning to his classic red and blue costume, Peter devised a desperate plan. He remembered how the symbiote had screamed and weakened under the force of Godzilla's roar. That meant it was likely vulnerable to sonic vibrations. If he could replicate that effect, he might have a chance. He stole Shocker's gauntlets and recalibrated them to match the exact frequency of Godzilla's roar. Armed with his makeshift sonic weapon, Peter mounted a flying device and soared toward the towering abomination. "E.T., go hell!" he shouted as he unleashed a devastating sonic blast. The vibrations ripped through the monstrous form of Venom-Godzilla, sending the alien shrieking in agony. Below, Mary Jane and Black Cat watched the chaos, trading sharp remarks about Peter's sense of humor and their complicated feelings toward him. But the victory came at a terrible cost. The intense vibrations shredded Peter's body, rupturing tissue and leaving him deafened by tinnitus. He plummeted helplessly through the air, thinking he'd failed. "I'm sorry," he thought. "I did my best to fix it. I hope it was enough." Before he hit the ground, a massive claw reached out and caught him. Godzilla had saved him. The gesture was proof that Godzilla's will was still fighting beneath the alien's control. Peter, barely conscious, quipped that he wished he had his camera. Then he urged the beast to take it from here. With a roar that shook the heavens, Godzilla summoned its primal fury. The king of the monsters fought back against the symbiote, its body adapting and its strength surging. Then it unleashed its ultimate weapon, a blinding blast of atomic breath. The beam tore through the alien mass, burning it away and scattering the black parasite into drifting ash over Manhattan. A hush fell over the city as the battle ended. Snow-like flakes of alien matter rained from the sky. Peter cheered in exhausted triumph, and for a brief moment, he and Godzilla shared a silent understanding before the Titan turned and lumbered back into the sea. Days later, as the city began to rebuild, one man prowled the wreckage, Eddie Brock. Bitter and vengeful, Eddie found Peter's shattered camera and gloated over his chance to destroy Parker's life by publishing the photos. But his triumph was short-lived. From the shadows, something moved. The symbiote wasn't gone. Tendrils shot from the debris, wrapping around Eddie and dragging him screaming into the darkness. His body twisted and convulsed as the alien merged with him. But this was no ordinary bonding. It carried with it the residual might of Godzilla itself. As Eddie's hatred and the symbiote's hunger fused, a new nightmare was born. Towering above the rubble, a monstrous figure snarled to the heavens, "We are God Venom!" The creature roared that it had work to do, and the story ended with its terrifying silhouette rising over the city, proof that the battle was far from over. So, now you know, Godzilla didn't just attack New York. The Venom symbiote bonded with the king of the monsters and nearly ended the world. Spider-Man fought like hell to stop Venom-Godzilla, risking everything and barely succeeding. But now, with God Venom rising from the ashes, the next chapter promises to be even more terrifying. And speaking of what's next, what if I told you this is just the beginning of Godzilla's transformation? What if I told you that the king of the monsters is destined to become the God Butcher, wielding cosmic fury across time itself? In the battles to come, Thor, the god of thunder, will have to cross the raging tides of time and space to confront a Godzilla, unlike anything the universe has ever seen, a destroyer of gods themselves. Care to hear that story? Then stay tuned, because the waves of time are rising and the next war is about to begin.